Every time we step onto the scene, girl, it's a movie. All these cameras flashing, girl, they love us like we Lucy. Can we catch a vibe?
What's up, jammers? Welcome back to another video. But before we do get started, I want to give a huge shout out to United Freedom Credit Repair for sponsoring today's video. Look, we've shared with you guys so many times the importance of having a good credit score. You know, oftentimes enough, us growing up as Hispanics, we are only aware of that using our credit is to get credit cards or to maybe buy a car. But the reality is that credit is super important for other things and to get ahead of life. When you don't have the funds to start a business or create something that can provide you with an additional source of income, you don't need to have the capital for it. As long as you have good credit, you're able to leverage your credit to fund that new business venture. Maybe start a Turo business, maybe buy some equipment for your already existing business. So when you really understand how to leverage credit, you'll come to the realization that achieving your goals and dreams is a lot easier than you may think, or at least a step closer. And that is exactly what the guys over at United Freedom Credit Repair help you do. Not only can they help you remove any repossessions, any late payments, any evictions, foreclosures, repossessions, but they can also educate you on how to properly use your credit so that you can get ahead in life. Look, I know 2020 was a rough year for everybody. Some people weren't able to afford, you know, their rent payment, their mortgages. Maybe they had a couple late payments. I know it happens. Don't feel bad for it. These are the kind of people that you want to talk to because they won't judge you. And not only will they help you recover from what you went through, but they will also help you get ahead so that you ultimately start living life on your own terms. And one of my favorite things too, obviously I know that for me as a kid growing up, I would always have to translate for my mom. So you don't have to do that. The guys over at United Freedom Credit Repair, they speak Spanish. So they'll be able to service you, your tia, your abuelita, and everybody that you may know in tu idioma. So what are you waiting for? It's time for you to take charge of your life. Get rid of any negative things on your credit report so that you too can start taking the first step towards freedom. So link will be in the bio and make sure that you guys let them know that the Jam family sent you guys. And again, a huge shout out to United Freedom Credit Repair for sponsoring today's video.
What's up, jammers? Welcome back to another video.
And this one is gonna be extra special. I feel like a lot of the stuff that we're currently living now, we kind of thought about it like
years
ago without really knowing, you know, what we were manifesting, I guess, if you will. But today we wanted to share something really special and intimate with you guys. It is something that, you know, Anita and I created when we first started dating, maybe like a year in, right?
Yeah, I think
about
so.
a year in. Just like a bunch of our memories together. We first started dating, things that we did, letters that we sent to each other.
It holds our past.
It holds our past. Just a lot of ideas that we would have for a future. And we're talking of what, like 10 years ago? This is like
almost 13 years ago.
Yeah, almost 13 years ago. But yeah, we really wanted to just kind of show this to you guys because I feel like a lot of the times we get told by people like, oh, you guys are a perfect couple, you know, you guys are couple goals, or you guys are doing this, you guys are doing that. But the reality of it is that it's been a long journey.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I mean, we've been together for almost 13 years. Mm-hmm. So, you know, our relationship has never been perfect, still isn't. You know,
I feel like ups and downs.
I feel like till this day we're always growing, we're always learning new things, we're always trying to improve our relationship.
Ourselves too.
Ourselves, you know? Yeah, but we get this question asked all the time, like how have you guys been together for so long? Like tips, how can we make our relation, how do you say it? How can you guys have a healthy relationship? You know, you guys are always asking us for tips or advice.
There really isn't like, how do I explain
like
this?
A manual type of thing.
There isn't like a manual, you know, you kind of have to write it out and understand that anything worth having is a long-term play, you know, like look at us, like we're barely, you know, starting to live out the life that we've always wanted to, and it's been almost 13 years, you know, so it hasn't, like, you guys are barely finding out about us and stuff like that, but we've been at it for a very long time, you know, in our relationship.
In everything that we have done,
yeah,
pretty much. But obviously we do want to share what we think has helped us.
Yeah.
And
that's why we decided to create this video. I don't think anybody has ever done this. And plus, I mean, it's very rare for a couple to be together this long, like in our generation, I guess,
and
if you
still
will.
be in love.
Yeah.
Because there is, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of relationships that are still together, but there's still not that connection, not that love. And I find it so pointless to be with someone just because you're so comfortable. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't understand it, and I never will. But
yeah, and I feel like it's also like I feel like this video is gonna be both an encouragement and an eye opener for people, because if you are in a situation like that where you might feel like your partner really isn't gonna be the one for you or isn't doing the necessary changes, and this can be a video for you to go and communicate, not argue, which is a huge difference, which we'll kind of get into, and just communicate how you feel. You know, I feel like if a lot of people had a healthier relationship with communication, it would facilitate a lot of things in making decisions, right? Like Anita and I always talk about how, like, you know, like, hey, if you ever, you know, not in love with me, instead of like cheating on me or whatever, just be straight up with me and tell me that, you know, that you don't want to be with me anymore or stuff like that, you know. And not only would that be more of a healthy transition, if you will, but at the same time, like, it's just healthier in general, you know what I mean? But anyways, we're gonna go over certain things, and this is so basically what we're gonna be showing you guys today is our scrapbook. I know there's a little bit of a glare, but this is a scrapbook that Anita made for the both of us.
It's dusty, you guys.
Yeah, it's a little bit dusty. It has all of our memories. It had letters of us writing to each other, talking about our goals, our dreams, how we would get married, how we would have our kids, what color their eyes would be, what puppy we would have.
Just our whole future that we envisioned. You know? And little story, you guys. So this scrapbook that you guys are seeing, it was a gift from me to Jose.
Yeah.
And I clearly remember when I made this was because we were going through a part in our relationship where I felt like I was losing him, and I felt like I needed to give him something to remind him of what we had. So this is when I created this.
Yeah.
So I just thought I shared that. These are, don't mind these. These are pictures of Mila when she was in my belly.
For me, this part right here is like a super important part because, okay, so this right here.
Should we do like little B-roll or just get it?
So if you see right here, this is my very first car that I ever owned. I was what, 17 or 18?
17?
18.
No, yeah, because you had your permit.
No, so
17. No, you were 17.
Yeah, so I was 17. This is my very first car. And this car, you guys, yeah, so obviously, like, you know, that was my first car, and I think it was like $1,500 at the time. But one of the things is that sometimes I wouldn't pass smog. I would have to pay for the temp tags, and one of the craziest things is that the right passenger door would not open. Like when I bought it, it was like shut. It was like shut. So I would always think like, oh, you know, well, I can get it fixed, you know? And I never really did because we thought it was just literally sealed shut. So Anita would always have to like either jump in through the driver's side or through the window. And this is like, yeah, and it's like, it was even in front of like people like in school or stuff like that. And she never like once complained, you know?
He would pick me up from school. So I was in high school at the time. And I remember when I was in high school, he would pick me up in this car. And like it was after school, so obviously, you know, all your like friends, like everyone at school comes out. So I remember he would pick me up, but that to me didn't matter. You know, it was just like the fact that he would go and pick me up. And at the time, I mean, nobody could. When you're in high school, nobody really has a car. You know, so you're considered like cool no matter what the car looks like. But yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, and then just to like see where we're at now in our life, like. It's surreal, you know? Like, and here's the thing, like, a lot of the stuff that we own, like, a lot of the materialistic stuff that we own isn't to, like, quote-unquote flex. It's more of, like, an accomplishment. It's a reminder of, you know, where we come from, you know, at the same time. Like, when we first got our Mercedes, like, you gotta realize from what we come from, it was, like, nobody had done it before, you know? Like, everybody always wanted to pay for their cars cash. They used to think, like, getting a car from the dealer was throwing your money away, which in some sense it is. But at the same time, when that object or that car is more of a door opener, I guess, if you will, or, like, a way to, like, expand your mind and know what it's like to sustain something like that and see it all the way through, like, it changes your perspective in life. You know, it gives you more confidence to be able to go out there and do greater and bigger things. You know, for us, our cars are more just like milestones in our life. You know, I encourage you, if you're in a position of where like you don't feel like you can change your life, I would say put yourself in a situation where you're scared of doing something and figure it out, because that is the easiest and the hardest way to accomplish things, is putting yourself in that position and knowing that you are gonna have to do whatever it takes to make sure that you accomplish, or
so you have no other option.
You have no other option. Like literally burn the bridge and
honestly, I feel like that's kind of what we've done throughout our whole relationship, like our whole journey, is we've put ourselves in so many situations where we don't know what's guaranteed. Like we just do it. For example, like we said, the Mercedes. I remember at that time we were living with my mom, and we were literally just renting a room. So we had no idea. Like I was a full-time makeup artist, and he was working at a bakery, and so our paychecks weren't, the greatest. Yeah. So we were like, let's just do it. And it was so scary. I remember our hearts were pumping. Yeah. We drove to the dealership that day, and we were like, what are we getting ourselves into? Do we even, like, how do we know we're gonna have enough money for, like, payments?
Yeah, breaks down. Because at this time we didn't even know how much repairs were gonna be or anything. Like we literally just took a leap of faith. We got it, and then we're like, we'll just figure it out.
We'll figure it out as we go. Exactly. And then even with this apartment as well, like we moved out of my mom's house, and at the time we were like, damn, we're barely gonna make it to afford a rent. Yeah. And then, I feel like doing all of that has definitely pushed us to do greater. It's like, damn, we literally have no choice but to push forward, and we have to, figure it out. Like, how are we gonna come up with the rent money plus extras,
our car expenses and everything.
Exactly. So, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely, I love this photo because it's a reminder of like, what we come from and like everything that we've gone through, and it's just the beginning, to be honest. Yeah. And my eyes are getting watery.
This was in 2008.
2008.
Okay, so the next picture, and
I feel like you get this as all the time. How did you guys meet?
So this, you guys, I don't know if you guys can see it. I have it. This right here says where it all started, and this was our first kiss. So this was basically the first time we actually started dating.
Yeah.
We get questions as to where we met. We actually met through MySpace. We were friends for a good while, and then we ended
for 2 years.
Yeah, for 2 years, and then this was the first time we ever met in person, and the first time he ever asked me out.
Yeah.
And I said yes.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to realize something too. We had already been talking for like 2 years. Yeah. There was already talks of us getting into a relationship prior to that, and but it didn't happen until we actually met one another and we actually started dating.
This was a soccer game too. This was in 2008, 11/23/08.
It's crazy. So this right here, so those photos right there, even though we are together, this was probably like one of the hardest times in our relationship, because we're going through a period of time where obviously we were both very immature. We just had
breakups.
We had a bunch of breakups,
we would wake
a lot of stuff
break
like
up
that
every single day. And mind this, you guys, I am probably the most immature one in our relationship. I'm gonna be completely honest. He's always been very mature, and he's known what he wants. As to me, it's just kind of like, I was just kind of like, whatever, and my personality is completely different than his. Like, I'm very short-tempered, very impatient, and he's the complete opposite. So, when we first started dating, obviously we would always crash because of that. Like I said, I'm gonna admit, I think we literally broke up because of me most of the time, because I was so short-tempered and very reactive. I wouldn't take his crap, like none of that. So
yeah, and it was just over like little things too, but this was a period of time where we kind of like think this was like our first year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was like our first year. So like the first year, I was like obsessed with Anita. You know what I mean? And at her time, like she said, she was just very more like just kind of living life, like enjoying the moments, like not really thinking about consequences or stuff like that. And you know, we would break up all the time. And this was during a period of time where I was like, you know what, like, well, maybe if I change the way that I dress and like, you know, do something different, like maybe she'll fall in love with me more or stuff like that. And we're right now at that current time, that's kind of what we're going through. We're going through that transition period of like, you know, trying to make it work and stuff like that. But again, we would break up all the time.
Like literally every single day. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
We were in a very, very toxic relationship. Yeah. Like it was to a point where it's like we were literally just with each other because it was just like that's all we knew, you know. Yeah. But it was honestly like super toxic, and you know, I know a lot of you guys are going through that right now. Like you're in a very toxic relationship where you're like, I don't know if it's gonna work out. Like you're just going back and forth, you know. But
and then also too, right here on this photo that we took, my car had broken down.
Oh yeah.
We went with
and this is the result after 13 years. The product. Say hey, Jammers.
What's that, Jammers?
Oh, he's the cutie. He's like, what's going on? Who is this?
He jumped straight into a YouTube channel, a YouTube video.
It's what's up. Look at him. He's like, what's up?
But yeah, as I was saying,
this picture.
So my car had broken down and
we're waiting at IHOP.
Yeah. Oh, but also to you guys, like, you know, it's crazy that now that we do YouTube, like I look back and we documented so many journeys. Like the photos that this camera was taken with was one of Anita's photos. I mean, off of her camera that she had bought to like basically vlog. You know, but without knowing what vlogging was. This was before YouTube.
I had bought, way before YouTube. I had bought like
It was a.
It's a Sony. I remember it was like $140. Remember you took me to the one in East Lake at Walmart, because that one was the only one that could record. There was a lot of them that would just like take pictures, and this one had like the two options, like to record and to take pictures. So that's why I wanted this one, so that we could record ourselves, and we would go to the park, and we still have some clips.
Yeah, some clips
of us recording, but
we still have that memory card. Actually, we just have to look for it.
Yeah. And then let me show you guys our prom.
I feel like we should just like do like moments where like.
Okay, like meaningful moments. Yeah. Okay. I was so mad.
She was so toxic, you guys. That whenever she was to get mad, she would like rip everything, fold everything.
Like these. Let me show you guys. So these pictures, you guys can see they're all wrinkly. You see them? Because I would get mad and I would like throw them in the trash. Like I would wrinkle them, and I was like, no, we're not getting back together. I would wrinkle them right in front of his face to kind of, you know, like
to make me mad,
to get a reaction out of him. But this he made this for me.
Yeah.
Look how cute this is. Okay, what Jose has is that he's very romantic, like very detailed. So I don't remember when you gave me this one.
That was for sure after we started. Yeah, that was like after we got back.
So I guess because I would go to high school.
We went to different high schools.
Yeah, we went to different high schools, but most of the time this guy wouldn't go to school. So when I was away at school in my classes, he would be at my house, and he would start doing all these cute little things. Like, for example, he would clean my room so that when I got home, like my room was clean. So cute, babies. And then, but I remember I came home to this, and he had just like done his own little scrapbook. Oh, okay, look. So this is the first picture, and he put. Words will never be able to explain what I feel for you, Princesita. Te amo. Happy 11th anniversary. Always and forever. So, okay, so this is for our anniversary.
Yeah.
Almost a year.
Okay, say 11th.
11th month.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was like 11. Like years, I was like, what the heck?
No, and then, like, you guys, we were our cholo days.
Well, not really, it wasn't cholo. I forgot who graffitied that.
Me.
You did it?
I did it.
Oh.
Look, our tree. So we have a tree. There's a park, and then there's a tree where we have our.
If you're from San Diego, it's called, that park is the one on I forgot what it's called, but it's that park that like dips in. I forgot what the name of it is.
That's it. So
I
this
feel
was
like
just.
that one was the newer one. We have another one.
Well, no,
The other ones are letters.
Oh, look, we were little. So cute. Here.
Yeah, these are the main ones.
Okay, you guys, look. These are letters. Where is this book?
I don't know.
Okay, it was this one because I ripped it apart.
Yeah. Sounding toxic over here.
I ripped it apart. That's why we can't find it. But look at it.
Your mama, daddy. Your mama, baby.
It's like what? All right, guys. So this is the cute one. These are like letters. So we had like a little journal, not a journal, pero una libretita where I would write, and then the next day he would grab it and then he would write, and then like we were like instead of text messages, it was letters.
Yeah.
But I remember that he did this. So he was at school, and I guess he went in and started just printing these pictures out. And then you put, I can imagine it, me imagino con tu pancita y luego teniendo nuestra big house, and then when our baby boy or baby girl nazca, le compramos un perrito, a little puppy. Can you imagine that, bebé? Well, here are some ideas.
And
So, a little girl and a little boy. He called it since the beginning. Oh, yeah, here's the little boy.
Here's the little boy.
You're just missing your puppy. Who's that little tiger? Look, you guys,
And then our
this is so
princess
cute.
is at school right now.
Yeah, she's at school, my baby girl. And then he always envisioned them cachetones. So this is another one of his layouts, his vision board.
My vision board.
And then we have a little puppy here too. Dice, tiene sus ojos como los míos, bebé, or better. Sorry, I couldn't give you that.
But yeah, it's just like, that's how we were saying earlier, like a lot of like the stuff that we are living out now, it's like stuff that we would manifest before knowing what manifesting was, you know? It's crazy.
I love you, baby. You're so cute. I'm like reading
Sometimes
these.
I like when I reread it, I'm like, oh my god, it was so cheesy, like extra.
But that's why I fell in love with him. That's the
Yeah.
things that he forgets. Like, you know what I mean? He forgets that. That's why I truly, truly fell in love with him. Yeah, you're gonna be cheesy, okay? You're gonna be cheesy with your girls. Okay, with your girlfriend, you're gonna be cheesy, okay? To make her fall in love with you. Like, he said, laugh. You wanna share some of them?
Have it, puppy, before you rip them.
I know, he's gonna rip those.
Before you rip them,
So this is the first rose that you
yeah,
gave me.
let me put this over here. So this right here, you guys, this is the first rose that I ever gave Anita, right here. And she made a whole poem and put the rose on this drawing, so it's like literally here forever, you know?
Babe, look at my toxic. Oh my god,
Where?
I can't even with me.
Oh yeah, look, she
I
would rip
I can't.
Like, so you see how these are ripped? Anita ripped them. This one's ripped. Anita ripped them. We used to have
I
it.
salvaged them.
We had gone to Six Flags, maybe like what, our second year into our relationship, and like I said, right, like going to Six Flags was already expensive for us. It was like we were already on the edge,
pushing it.
yeah. And then so when we were there, we were with like two couples, right? We were with like two other couples, and I ended up paying for this black and white portrait of us, like those cartoon ones, and it was expensive. I think it was like what, $35 or $40 or something like that. And at that time, like that was like, you know,
I don't even remember.
yeah,
what
it was expensive to us, you know. I mean, even back in the day, like going and spending $50 on dinner was like, that was like our fancy dinner, you know. It was expensive. But yeah, so she ended up ripping that too. So I was like, oh my god. Anytime we would do something, she would always rip everything.
I did.
Everything.
I'm telling you guys, I was very short-tempered.
Super short-tempered.
I did, and okay, so I want to make a big point, you know, because I feel like this is very frequent in relationships. It's like you have a lot of issues because you have a lot of issues because you don't know how to control yourself, or you don't know how, like, what I feel like really made a big difference in our relationship was working on myself. Because I knew, like, the first thing is knowing that you have a problem. The second step is accepting it, and then the third step is obviously fixing it. And I'm not saying it's gonna happen overnight, but he would always tell me, like, you're like, eres bien enojona, you're such short-tempered, like, you know, and that when he would tell me constantly, I was like, oh my god, like, it's true, you know. I knew it, but I just never wanted to accept it because obviously my pride, my ego. But the minute that I actually was like, okay, like, you know, we can stop having so many fights if only I change that, because I know it's true, you know. I'm not fixing anything by making things worse, like me reacting like that, or, you know, saying all this. Like, I need to stop and
not be so defensive.
So that was literally one of the things that I feel like really helped our relationship, is me learning how to, like, I had to work on myself, you know. I had to learn how to let go.
I feel like the biggest thing was her knowing how to listen, because before she would hear and she would react instead of like listening to understand or see a different perspective, you know.
Exactly.
It was just her being super defensive. So I could have told her like, oh, I don't like the way you do this because of this in detail, not just like, oh, I don't like that or whatever. And she would get so mad, and I'm like I'm not trying to like argue with you, I'm literally just trying to communicate how I feel or what I think. And she just wouldn't be up for it at all, you know. And I feel like that's kind of like an issue with our culture. It's not just like a person kind of thing, it's a culture thing, right? When for us, like as Mexicans or as Hispanics, like we're very like short term, you know, like we're so defensive because we have sometimes so little that we try to protect the little that we have, right? So, and whether it's our beliefs, whether it's our material things, whether it's whatever it may be, like our, you know, our surroundings, we're so defensive because we're just trying to protect whatever it is that we have. And in her case, it was like her defending her personality, defending herself.
Well, also I also feel like it's a lot of pride, because I feel like as you grow up, you know, your household, you're kind of told to like hide your emotions, hide your feelings, not say what you feel, you know, because the minute that you try to say your opinion or say what you think, you're being told like you're not allowed to say that, you know,
or just like you're wrong,
yeah. So you know, obviously when you get into a relationship, you know, that's your pride. You're like, well, I'm not gonna say how I feel, like, or I'm not gonna say sorry, you know what I mean? It's so hard to say sorry, but the minute that you start practicing, you start doing it, you know, you start feeling good about yourself, because you're like, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. And not just that, it also helps you
know how to communicate.
You know how to communicate and be a better person as well. So you know, I feel like learning how to communicate and also just accepting and putting that into work, you know.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of the times, like, you know, like how she was saying, like culturally we're very like family oriented, but a lot of times our family are the ones that put us down the most. So they're kind of like the ones that help us build that wall, where in anything we just have to be so defensive because we have to and somehow protect our feelings or our emotions or our thoughts. Like I'm pretty sure you guys go through this whenever you're trying to tell your parents or your family like, hey, I want to do this, and it's something that's not normally what's accustomed. Then be like, oh, tú estás loca, or like
¿Cómo vas a
hacer eso? Like, no vas a agarrar nada, like, you know, like
just negative.
You know what I mean? Even YouTube, like if you tell them like, oh, I'm gonna do YouTube, and like, like, estás loca, ¿quién te va a estar viendo? Or whatever, you know, whatever the case may be. But I feel like a lot of our challenges in life in terms of just going after what we really want is like our upbringing, you know, and sometimes our upbringing is what limits us the most, and being able to communicate, being able to understand, being able to go after the things that we're passionate about and we love, and you know what I mean. So I feel like a lot of that that was like the beginning of her, not the beginning, but like the source of like her personality, I guess, if you will. And for me, I mean, I could have been like that too, because my mom, she's very reactive. Like, she's very quick to like.
But I feel like your experience was a whole lot different. Like, you lost your brother, and then you always felt like I should have said how I felt, you know. So you kind of like you've always been that type of person. Like, you always say what you feel, and you know, you're very compassionate and very like, okay, like, how can I, you know what I mean? Like, so I feel that's why you were who you were. You were a lot more mature.
Yeah, because I feel like
you had to grow up, you know, emotionally faster than I did.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of times, like, when you lose somebody, it just kind of like changes your whole outlook in life, because you realize that it isn't just about you anymore. You know, you realize that, you know, life is pretty short in a way, and you know, things can change in a matter of seconds, you know. And you know, that was what for me was like, I know my brother knows that I love them and that he meant everything to me, but me looking at that situation, I was like, man, I was never able to like really just tell him how I felt, you know. And that's something that really stuck with me for years. And even now, like, you know, you'll always see me tell people, oh, I love you, or you know, I care about you, or you know, just be affectionate in that way. And that's just because like I know how it feels like to not have that opportunity, you know, when it comes to having somebody that, you know, you genuinely care for. And you know, whatever might happen with that relationship, it's gonna happen. But as long as you're able to just get that off your chest and just say truly how you feel, you're always gonna have that peace of mind, like knowing that, you know, you gave it your best, and that, you know, you were able to communicate that and tell the other person how you felt. And that's the best that you can do. And that's kind of how like how I approached our relationship too as well. Like, I would always tell her how I felt for her and all that. And even though right now she says that that's the reason why she fell in love with me, like at the same time, it was a big reason as to why she would push me away, because I was so like affectionate, something that she wasn't used to, you know, whether it was like through her upbringing or just in relationships in general. Yeah. And that was like another reason why she would just kind of like push me away. You know? Too much for me.
But yeah, you guys, we don't want to make this video way too long, because I know we can go on and on and on and on. I mean,
if you guys want a part 2, then we'll make a part 2. Yeah. But we just kind of wanted to give you guys like a hint as to, you know, just really perspective, you know, like in anything that we do, as we grow, as we gain, you know, like more in life, like this is who we are, this is what we come from, this is our foundation. We've never forgotten our foundation, where we come from, the things that we're grateful for, the people that we've lost along the way, like the hardships, the challenges, like if we always go for more, it's because we remember where we come from exactly, you know. And I feel like our story and our journey is a direct reflection for anybody who has started from that or is in that situation. Like, you guys can go out and, you know, make something different out of your life, be that pattern, you know, breaker in your family, be that generational change, and, you know, be more open to things that normally weren't, you know, normal for us growing up. And we just kind of wanted to do this video to show perspective. Like, it isn't just about motivation, it's about like, so you guys can get to know us a little bit better as to where we come from, where we started, why we're so, you know, family oriented, why it is that we strive for more. And down the road, like I always with Anita and I always talk about this, like the bigger that we get, the more that we're going to create a disconnect from people who don't have the capacity to see themselves to grow with us and to see themselves in our position, right? Because I want our channel to be a direct reflection of what you guys can do as well. And I don't mean that in a motivational way or in a cheesy way, I mean that in a perspective way. Like, literally anything that you set your mind to, you can do it. Like, just look at us from when we started. We're super vulnerable with you guys. Like, you know, when we first started dating, like we had nothing, and you know, even now, like we're still always chasing for more, but we're really, really far away from what we started. And
we're always trying to improve, not just, you know, with materialistic. It's more, you know, personally. Like we're always trying to grow.
It's personal growth.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're always trying to become a better version of ourselves. And honestly, that's probably one of the reasons why we're still in love with each other, why we still, you know, why we're still together for so long is because like
we're just getting started.
Yeah, because you know I feel like a lot of times once you get into a relationship you feel like, oh pues ya me casé, like I can let myself go, you know, and it's not like that. Like I always tell you guys this, you know, and then this is the reason, and I'm telling you, like this is the reason why we've been together for so long, is because we're always trying to be a better person. We're always trying to seek how we can be a better human, a better
individually, you know. A lot of the times, like, people have the misconception that when you're in a relationship, you have to, like, always be with your family or always with your partner, but you also have to have that time that's individual to you so that you can grow personally, because if you don't, you're never, if you can't grow individually, you'll never be able to bring something better to your family or as a couple.
And let me tell you guys, this was probably one of the hardest things for me as well, because I was so used to being with him 24/7 when we first started dating, and as we started growing, obviously we had more responsibilities, we have kids, so to me that was a lot. It was really hard for me to transition from, you know, being together to, you know, doing our own thing. But you know, you have to really learn how do you say it, like you have to learn how to let your partner live, you know, and you, like, this is how I'm telling you guys, this is how we literally keep our relationship so healthy, you know. It's because we literally come home and we'll probably spend 1 to 2 hours with each other, and throughout the day it's not like I'm not texting him like, where are you at, what are you doing? No, like there's times where I don't even know where he's at. He's like, oh, you know, I'm here in LA, and I'm like, oh snap, you know, like I don't know his schedule like that. Like there's days where my mom be like, oh, you know, is Jose going to LA tomorrow? And I'm like, oh snap, like I don't even know, you know, because we trust each other and we just let each other live, you know. Sometimes I even forget that we're married, because and that's how it should be. You shouldn't feel like you're somebody's property. You know, that's not how it should be. And one of the questions that I'm gonna answer is, you guys are always asking me, is like our jealousy. I think it's our biggest topic is like jealousy. You know, I feel like you guys get more jealous of Jose than I do. Aiden gets jealous too.
Can you go, please?
You know, obviously Jose's job is to work with a lot of influencers, Instagram models, and mainly the majority of them are female. And a lot of you guys are always asking me, Anita, do you get jealous? Like, how do you do it? Like, how can you know, handle him being around with so many BBLs, so much plastic? Like, it's crazy, because I'm just shook at the amount of DMs sometimes, or messages, comments that we get about you guys asking that, and it's like, oh my god, like Jose always says, like, they're toxicas, you know, he calls them toxicas. He's like, they get more jealous than you, and you're my wife, you know. But it's not okay, you guys, and it's sad that you guys should feel that way, you know. And I don't know, it's maybe because of your past
experiences, and it's understanding too as well.
Well, yeah, it's understandable, but you guys shouldn't feel that way, you know, because if I don't feel any type of way, like, then why do you guys? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me.
But I feel like it's so out of the box, you know what I mean? También, like, for there to be, like, kind of that level of trust that we have, and the relationship that we have, like, it's literally taking years, so it's not something that just anybody is aware of. Happened
overnight, you know? Yeah. And like I said, you guys, I've answered this plenty of times. It's because I trust him, and I know that, you know, he knows what he has at home, that whenever he does something, like, he's gonna lose it all, you know. And I don't feel, and also I had to work on myself too, you know. You have to learn how to do a lot of self-love. You have to truly love yourself to be comfortable where your partner is around BBLs, plastic.
And then also too, like, my foundation is my family, right? So, like, when me growing up, like, that's all I ever wanted, you know, to have a family. Because I think that was saying, when my brother passed away, both of my parents split up, and for a very long period of time, like, I felt alone, you know. I felt like I lost everything that made me happy, you know. So now that I have a family, it isn't just about, you know, me going out and taking care of me, or, you know, satisfying my needs or whatever, but it's like now I have a family that depends on me. Like it would kill me to see another person raise my son, or like for my daughter to be around another guy. Like, you know, those are things that in my head are like,
you think ahead,
in stone, you know. Like I'm not an in the moment person. I'm more of a like long-term person. Like I think about consequences. I think about the decisions that I make today are gonna affect this, or are gonna change this, or, you know. And I feel like a lot of the times, like a lot of the guys are more just like in the moment. If I have this opportunity, I'm gonna take it. And it's not about that. Like, especially when you have a family, you're not just the relationship is gonna hurt, but your children, and your children are the ones that are the most affected. And me growing up in that, like,
you know,
I never want to put my children through that, you know. Like, there are so many things that I've changed in patterns, in terms of like things that my mom did, things that my dad did, things that people around me would do, that I was like, you know what, like I never want to be that, because I know how it feels like to be the receiving end of people like that. And so for those reasons, I'm always thinking of like, I'll never do this because I never want to put my children through this, or, you know. And I've experienced that with both my sisters. Same thing, like the relationship with my mom and my sister's dad didn't work out. The relationship with my dad and my sisters and my brother's mom didn't work out, and they're going through the same thing that I went through, you know. So now I have to kind of go in and fix that and help them heal simultaneously. And I don't ever want to put my children through that. So that is one of the biggest reasons why, like, you know, I can't see myself making that mistake, you know, because it isn't just about me or that particular moment, you know. Like it's bigger than that.
And a lot of people fail to see that, you know.
Yeah.
What I mean? But all we want is,
but it's understanding too, you know, because like it's a normal, I guess I wouldn't say a normal thing, but it's kind of expected for there to be that kind of like trust issue, I guess, if you will. Like, I'm just giving you guys both perspectives. Like, we understand that perspective. But
well, also, if your relationship isn't healthy, you know, that's,
or you've experienced that before.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of factors that comes into cheating, and, you know, being in a toxic relationship. It's you know, it's a lot, and it's a big process, and it's a big, you know, marriage relationships are not easy. I feel like being a parent and having a relationship is probably one of the hardest things in the world. It's something that you never stop learning. It's something that you never stop working on. You know, it's always a growing experience when you're a parent and when you're in a relationship. Like, but just know that, you know, things do get easier the more you learn about yourself, the more you work on yourself. And the more you're happy within yourself and you're just a happier person, you're able to you bring that onto your relationship, you know. And so I just feel like, are you okay, baby?
And I feel like a lot of the times, like in relationships, people talk about being happy and being this and being that, but they don't really like live that, I guess, if you will, you know. And in our perspective, it's like more of like, again, taking care of yourself first, like prioritizing yourself. You gotta learn how to be selfish sometimes too. And it isn't about like perfection, I guess, if you will. It's more of like a constant progression every single day to work towards a better version of yourself.
Exactly.
And when you kind of build that habit, then everything else just kind of.
Say mama! Yeah, we caught it on camera.
Mama, daddy.
We caught it on camera.
Please.
Oh,
But he's been saying papa too. Like, he's been saying papa a lot
Papa
more.
first, then
Yeah,
mama.
he said papa first.
Like Mila.
I'll probably cut this out so we can do a separate video of saying like in his first word, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just about, you know, that constant progression within yourself, and then everything else just kind of flows naturally. When there's a bigger picture towards where you're trying to get to, the little short-term pleasure doesn't matter. And I feel like that's how I see my life. You know, yes, I get to be around models and I get to be around influencers and all that, but at the end of the day, like, that's not what I want, you know? Like, I know where I'm gonna head with my family. I know, here's how powerful it is. In my mind, I'm already in our mansion. I'm already with how we want to live, and I feel myself hugging my family and telling them, like, damn, we really did this. You know, so when I have that in my head, nothing else matters because I'm thinking about that particular moment and I want to know how that moment feels. So I'm going to do anything in my power to be disciplined and structured so that I can get to that. And because I have that mentality, like the short-term stuff doesn't matter to me, you know?
And it all comes down to discipline, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys, okay, we just went.
Yeah, we're almost done. But I feel like I love this because we're kind of conversating with you guys. You know, I feel like we're just talking with other friends and sharing
telling you guys how it is that, you know, we've managed to you know, to girls. Obviously, like I said, we're not perfect. We're still growing. There's still times where we're pissed off at each other. You know, there's days that we don't talk to each other for a whole 3 days, 4 days max. But you know, it's the main important thing is that, you know, we always self-reflect and we come to an agreement. We both communicate, and like I always say, it's not just about communication, because you can communicate all you want and your partner might not, you know, apply. It's a lot of communication, but you also have to do understanding and an application. Like, you both have to meet halfway. You know, there's gonna be things that you don't like about him, and there's gonna be things that he doesn't like about you. But as long as you both, you know, are willing to meet in the middle, it's gonna work out. You know, but it's a both willingness to do. Like, you both have to want the same thing, which is be together, build, you know, your empire, build whatever it is. You guys have to be literally on the same page, and then everything else will just fall into place. Because if you want to be with that person and he doesn't want to be with you, then it's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. It's like you both have to want to be with each other and be in love with each other to make it work.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, self-improvement is also super important, because the more you are in love with yourself, the more you invest in yourself, it's gonna all fall, you know, with it. Sorry, Aiden's over it.
Yeah, well, and the last thing is, remember, one of the things, so always whenever you're gonna argue with your partner or whatever, always remember something in the back of your head. You guys are a team. You guys are working together towards something, not against each other. And when you have that understanding, it's gonna facilitate that level of communication and that middle ground for where you guys can share how you feel and how your partner feels, and then that's when you find the solution. You find that like perfect middle ground, you know.
Exactly.
And it isn't about it's a give and take, right? So there has to, both of you have to give up something, but you both will gain something. So you have to figure that out in order for you to keep, you know, pressing forward. But
exactly.
Anyways, guys, we're just happy that we were able to share this with you guys. And
And look at baby Aiden. Look, puppy, right here. Look. Say what's up, jammers. Say what's up, jammers. Say what's up, jammers. You handsome, huh? Who's that boy? Diles, thank you, jammers, for watching today's video. Dile, I love you all, and I can't wait to see you on the next video. Dile, my name is Aiden Luis Alvarado, and I will see you on my next video. Peace. All right, you guys. No, but we love you guys, and we hope, and we are praying for you, whatever you guys are going through. And if you guys are going through a relationship breakdown right now, or whatever it is,
we hope this video was able to give you guys perspective.
And we hope you guys all find love and peace. We love you guys, and we'll
See you guys in the next video.